All right, here we go. We are live. Thank you for joining me today on the Money GPS Live. I'm a little later today. Apologies for that. I tried to schedule it then, and I even was late for the schedule. So thank you all for coming in. I'm going to wait for everybody to get on in here. We got 20 people coming on in. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. All right. Ask you about anything. Be careful what you ask for. That's right. That's right. Canadian farmer here in the last 2 years, land values in Perth County, Ontario have risen 25%. Absolutely. And not to mention the fact that the best part about land is just that security, knowing what you have and so on. On top of that, it's appreciating in value. So that's awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just going to set up the control panel on my end here. Pardon me, a little bit late today. Hello, everyone coming on in. We got 60 people joining. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button, the thumbs up button. I appreciate that. I'm going to get my stuff set up on this side. And as always, any question is welcome. I'm going to make sure that I do my best to answer your questions. Okay. All right. Set up everything. I got so much going on. Okay, here we go, everybody. Let's do it. All right. Live in 4 minutes after 9 minutes. Just 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. Don't stay on so long tonight. Okay. All right. Anything you say? Okay. If every base you got with Amy Schumer added 7. How far? That's funny. That's a funny one. Okay, hi everyone. Good evening. Yes, 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 yes. Hey dude, what's up GPS? I did great this week. I'm not involved in stinks. What's your take on AMC and crypto? What are you buying? I don't talk about what I'm specifically buying. I've said this before. I'll just be very quick. If you want to know about my opinion on crypto, go to a search, type in the crypto GPS, and you will see a video where I break that down. If you're talking about AMC and GME, I think that a lot of people are going to be left holding the bag. That's just me. I know they're talking about the mother of all short squeezes. Yes, 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 I get it. However, there's very, very few instances in history where people would actually be able to do very well. There had already been one, and in fact 2 with these particular stocks. I think that boring stocks are probably a lot better. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to try and make an incredible amount of money in a short period of time, although that sounds fantastic. I think you're better off buying great stocks and doing things, or boring stocks and do a swing trade. I know that's not a popular opinion, but I'm just being honest with you. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear and then say, oh, I'm a cheerleader for this and that. I just want you to know what I think, if that's what you ask me. Let's get this party started with the truth. That's right. We can unify around the truth. Good day, David, Sydney, Australia. Thank you very much for coming on in. All right. I hit like. Yes. Oreo production is being outsourced to Mexico. Everything's being outsourced to these different countries. So a rise in land tax will follow soon in Ontario. Well, the thing is about with taxes, if you have land that is considered to be like, I forget the word, like basically you have to protect the land. Maybe it's got a river, it's got a stream and so on. You may be able to actually get your property tax back. Do a search, depends on your area. Sweet, I'm going to play this on our production floor. My team is into crypto, farming is booming, and I'm running 2 shifts a day packing. Invest in farmers. Excellent. What has been your most profitable trade investment since February 2020? I don't talk about, so just in case anyone's aware, I don't talk about what I invest in. NASDAQ to go to 17,000. I think NASDAQ is more likely to hit 100,000. All right. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of questions here already. All right. Where do you see BlackRock headed? BlackRock's probably going to do very well because of their direct tie to the Federal Reserve. Got to go for coffee with a buddy in a minute here, but I'll stick around as long as I can to hear the goods. Thank you very much for doing so. I appreciate that. Again, Lester, thank you for coming on in the Bahamas. One day I'll come by for a coconut. How does that sound? You came up on my notifications today. Yes. Wow, fantastic. Wow, is this live? Yes, it is. We are live. We are live. So I don't cover calls. I don't talk about what I invest in personally because I have to watch out in terms of financial advice and so on. Although at this point, everybody gives financial advice online, and I think that just at one point there's going to be a lot of upset people, and I just don't want any pitchforks near me. That's all. Good evening, David. Thank you again for coming on in. Canadian housing market in 1 year. Take your wild guess. 1 year, either same level as today or higher, assuming interest rates are the same. When GPS, dude, I think that the reason you got a strike on your channel is because Bitcoin and all the crypto trash are being pumped by the mainstream. You are not pumping. You are telling the truth. I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know, but it's just crazy what happened because I really stay within the line. So I'm not too sure, but it could have been just a mass reporting of me and so on. But I can get rich off the misery of others and loss. SPCE, I'm still going long. Yeah, I could do very well. But it's like what you would consider, growth stocks, risk assets. If we go risk off, something like that wouldn't do well. Just want you to be aware of that. Gross, and this is boring. Okay, that's okay. I can tell you right now, there's Jim Cramer you can watch. You can watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. There's tons of stuff that is much more entertaining than this. Is there an endpoint to the fraudulent Dow Jones and they can no longer pump up the market? Yes, it is possible that they can get to that point where they can no longer pump it up. It doesn't have that stimulative effect. It is definitely possible. I don't think we're there yet. Justin, awesome. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming on live. All right, let's see what we got here. Real estate sales at an 18-month low, according to the news tonight. Has started on the holiday. We'll see showing what's happening. Okay, so basically, there's different things happening here with the real estate. I think prices have gone to a level people cannot afford at this point. Here, they're kind of just waiting and seeing. However, seasonally during the summer months, it is slower, and then September it picks up. So if it's still very slow through September, then we've got a structural problem. That's for real estate. Crypto's pumped because there was something there people believe in. Yes, absolutely. People believe very strongly in it, and they're willing to put a lot of money around it. All right. Fed still printing. Stock market will still go up in the print until the printer stops. What do you think, money man GPS? Okay, so this is the way it works. Yes, you are in fact right. If you look at the S&P and you mirror that with what's happening with the balance sheets, clearly they are distinctly correlated. However, they were also correlated in early 2020. They were also pumping in 2020. What happened? Right? They had pumped in at the fastest rate ever in history from September 2019 to that point in 2020, and still the stocks fell. Yes, they came up very fast, but they still fell. Remember that, okay? So it can happen just because they're printing. However, if they slow down the printing or they stop the printing, yes, then we have a definite problem. I got a strike a few years ago, I think 2017, 2018 timeframe, yeah. What do you think the main reason is for the Great Resignation? I think it's unaffordable housing, but most disagree with me. That's part of it. I mean, everything is becoming unaffordable, yet the wages aren't rising corresponding to that. I think part of the problem is people don't like the salaries that they're getting or offered. I think there's also 2020 kind of give people a chance to sort of rethink themselves and rethink their careers and so on. So I think there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Do you think good governance is going to come for us taxpayers? One that represents all well. Oh, no, good governance? No. I don't think so. Hola. Thank you very much for coming on in. Again, no notification when you were going live. See, Mark? But Mark knew to come in. He just knew, let me go check if GPS is live. That's why this system is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I wish there was another way I could do this, and hopefully there'll be a way that we can get people coming on like instantly. I can notify you by text message or something, but quite frankly, not enough people sign up to the insiders, which I'm going to plug right now. If more people would sign up to the insiders, here we go, then at least I can email people, but not enough people are signing up to that. It's like 5,000 people, and wow, that's fantastic. I wish it was 200,000 people. I wish we can get everybody on there. Hey, buddy, you got this. Thank you, thank you. Another live stream, you spoil us. Yeah, this is like 1 week straight I've been doing this, trying to get everybody in on here, trying to reprogram the algorithm. I'm hoping that we can do something. We'll see. Thank you very much for your support. Much appreciated. Keep up the good fight. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you. All right, let's see what we got. The truth can be painful, and people don't like pain. Unfortunately, true. Economic growth will be bad for the next few years. Yes, and the stock market has borrowed so much from the future too. I don't know what's going to happen. I had prepared the stock charts here, but there's so many questions. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. What do you say to retirees with mutual funds who fear losing as much or more of 2008 to 2012? Yeah, I think it's actually going to be a lot worse. What they did just recently was to actually give some money to the pensions and stuff. I think people need a secondary income. I think people are not going to be able to retire when they think they're going to be able to. And I think that people should be just a little bit more with their investments. I think instead of people having like a 401k and they don't touch it, I think you should have a self-directed IRA and you should be playing with the funds within that. That's just my opinion. That is not something that you should take in. I think people should just be kind of thinking for themselves actively every single day. So if you're not already, get on my Instagram, get on my Facebook, Twitter, all of these. I'm pumping out the same information, and it's different stuff that I can get into on my YouTube. And you get like these tiny little nuggets of information that are going to help you to learn throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. I promise you it's going to be very, very informative and done in a simple way. Get on the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever your favorite is, get on them all if you can. Fed's still printing. Here we go. Do you pay your taxes quarterly? Yeah, when you have a corporation and self-employed, then it works differently, right? Than a normal like 9 to 5. QE has inflated values of everything. Fed buys all the assets through hidden channels. What if they sell? Thoughts? Yeah, that's the thing, right? We don't really know, but obviously it would be devastating because the biggest buyer suddenly leaves the market. Will they do that? I'm not sure. I mean, that's what they do historically. They do create crisis, so it's possible. Let's institute a public credit money system, no more than 0.25 interest rate on all borrowing, including home mortgages, and will be tax deductible. Yeah, well, ultimately that the only a certain small group of people are there to get the good deals, right? That's the way it works. All right. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Best move for retirees. So I just kind of got into that. I hope you heard what I said, but basically it's a simple matter of getting ahead of the game. I think people should learn how to have basic skills. What are your skills? Can you do accounting? Can you help people with bookkeeping? Can you bake? Can you cut the grass? Can you do these things? And you should be doing them in all of your free time. People, they go home, they scroll on their phones, they watch the Netflix, they do this. Instead, you should fill every single hour with work, some type of work. Yeah, but if you love baking, is baking really, something that is too challenging for you? Or, you can do it. It's not a problem, but you're going to make some money on the side. And that money you're going to invest it into sound investments, and you're going to be good in the future. What we have to get away from through the process of elimination is all of these different things in our lives that we don't need, that only suck us dry. I always appreciated your devotion to the truth. Your pessimism has given me hope for a correction. I don't want the rich people getting richer. They will get richer. I assure you about that. To be clear, I'm not pessimistic. I don't know, I'm not sure what you're referencing exactly, but certainly the rich will get richer. Every crisis, the divide grows further and further. 2020 was an example of more of a trap than actually fundamentals taking place. Hi from the Toronto home front, David. I disagree with your Robusta position. Delicious big Arabica in the big smoke. Look, I love a blend. But the Robusta gives you, we're talking about coffee here, by the way, in case anyone's not aware, gives you a better crema. Would you agree with that? You tell me. You got to strike because it's talking about the Illuminati. Ooh, we got to watch out. Hey, thank you for joining in again. I love the people coming in every day for this. Thank you for that. They shut down another channel. Yeah, it happens all the time. That's why specifically I set up the insiders. That's why I want people to get on the insiders right there. Why? Because these people didn't prepare and I hadn't for so many years. Okay? So that's why I wanted you to get on, right? Oh my God, your burns are best like a dry martini. If precious metals dry up in a dollar crash, wealth looking for a place to go will flow into crypto. We don't have any history about crypto. That's the thing. During a crisis, I think people will generally probably go risk off. I think that's the thing. I think it's risk off. So in that case there, you would have the growth stocks would do terribly. You probably have cryptocurrencies not doing very well, or at least go sideways. And people would go to traditional safe havens. Maybe they're going to go to bonds or some other things like that. You will own nothing and be happy. That's what they tell us. That's what they tell us here. Okay. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust opens soon. Could uranium mines do well? By the way, I don't stack uranium at home. Yeah, probably not a good idea. They could do well. I'm not sure, what the future has in store because there's so much talk about is it a good play or not. At this point, I have no comment on it. Yesterday, you felt your course. So you said you felt your course running on Amazon Business is still totally viable today. Do you feel that all the shipping issues and the shortages has put a damper in that? Yeah, so the only real problem here that I've experienced is that you have more delays. You have the one problem is basically you go to ship. Normally it was you ship from overseas, you bring it into the Amazon warehouse. Yes, there's the delay in between, but you can kind of expect it, no problem. Now Amazon basically doesn't want to hold your products, much of them, very, very small amount. They give you maybe 30 days worth of inventory. So you have to have a separate warehouse. You pay a 3PL, or maybe you have your own, storage facility that you have personally. So you would ship it there. And then as you need product, you send 1,000 units at a time or so, and you send that into Amazon. So that's basically the only difference in terms of like overall problems. No, like if you're dealing with China, they don't have a problem. They were down for 5 weeks. Let me tell you something. The whole world, you're seeing everything in the news, everything I talk about here. China was down for 5 weeks, and 4 of those weeks were Chinese New Year. It's a machine, whether we like it or not. It's a machine, and they got those logistics down packed. Let me tell you, everybody, like if you compare, I tried to source products in the United States. I have done this. I have spent hours trying to source products from the United States. I will pay much more money to get it to happen. I'm calling, I'm emailing, I'm searching. It's not available. The products that they make, it's not available. It's harder to get a product from your own country into the Amazon warehouse than it is from halfway around the world. This is crazy. This is because there's been so much dependence, the outsourcing of the jobs. These are all the things that I talk about. But people, they don't get it. They just say, well, buy local. Look, you literally cannot find certain products available in your own country. That's how crazy, that's how far gone this is. Manufacturing, sure, there's some manufacturing, but overall, the logistics, like literally you manufacture a product, okay, I need to get it to me. Well, they say, well, we're only going to make 100,000 units. We're not going to make 500 units. We're not going to make 1,000 units. That's the difference. That's the difference. All right. And this is based on my experience, okay? So everyone's going to have a different experience. Japan have been printing money and propping up the market for 30 years. Is it possible the US can do the same? Yes, it is possible, but look at the situation. All of the real money has left. The stock market, I could be wrong, but I think the stock market and real estate market, we're talking about levels that you can't achieve the previous high. So who buys in at that high? It's retail investors. They get burned. Examples of what assets and stocks to invest in during a recession. I came here for the truth. Thank you very much. Yes, so during a recession depends on what type of recession you have. Is that like a deflationary recession? Are we talking about financial crisis? I think generally what people should look at, type into a search engine and type in all-weather portfolio, and you're going to get the Ray Dalio portfolio. Read Ray Dalio's principles. Read Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. This is like a general, like if you want to know how to invest like, you know, your typical financial advisor, but better, that's it. If you want to know deeper stuff, we got to talk about that on a deeper level. But I think everybody should know what's in those two books, and then you have a good base. Do you think that they'll crash the market soon to create a panic and induce the the increase in the threats of the Chinese yuan? So essentially, I do believe that they'll pull the plug at some point. They always do. This is a known fact. You could look at it historically. That was my first book. It was all about that. I talked about how they didn't intervene in 1920. The market fell down. Market roared back up. What was the one thing that they did? This is 1920, not 29. They cut government spending by 60%. Just imagine what that would do today. 60%, insane, right? Okay, but anyway, yeah, they will pull the plug. I don't know when, of course, interest rates being a big factor, but it could happen at any time. And in terms of the Chinese global currency and so on, I think we're still a little bit far away from that. What countries would you move to a better quality of life and why? Cayman Islands, not even a question. Anywhere where there's no tax. If there's no tax, income tax, that is, that sounds good to me. And then you got to have another place. But that other place, you don't tell anybody about it. I truly enjoy all the information for us you give. Full disclosure, I listen to you as ASMR to help me go to sleep. You have a very relaxing voice. All right, then. Whatever works. Clubhouse app. Yes, I was on the Clubhouse app. I was on there. I had about maybe 5 to 6 people would come in every day. So definitely... not that many people were coming in, but I appreciated everybody that did. It was fun. It was a fun time. Do you think that buybacks should be illegal? I think they should be able to do whatever they want, actually. I think they should be able to do whatever they want, but we should be able to acknowledge the truth. This is why they're going up. They should make a public announcement that they're doing this. It should be known to investors. So, should it be illegal? Not really. I don't think it should be necessarily illegal, but it's funny because they talk about the fundamentals and so on, but the fundamentals are truly hideous. No notification, but I was here. Yeah, see, another person. No notification. See? Exactly. And I've had people say, oh, you're a liar. You're just saying this. You want some attention. Look at all the people. Yes, some people do get the notification. I understand that. What's your take on the 15% minimum global corporate tax by 130 countries, job cuts incoming? No, I don't think it'll necessarily directly impact it. In terms of the minimum, I just think it's silly. Whether it will get passed in the different Congress and parliaments around, I'm not even sure about that. SQQQ today, your thoughts? I'd be careful on shorting anything personally. It's so high risk. Oh, and now I lost the chat again. Here we go. As soon as you scroll a little bit, sometimes it forces you all the way down. All right. How do you determine if an asset is undervalued or overvalued? What indicators, charts, or analysis do you use? Historical inflation? Yeah. So this is depending on short-term or long-term. If you're looking at short-term, you're looking at the swing trade and so on. You could look at the RSI. You could look at the stochastic RSI. You can look at the slow stochastic, and you could look at the MACD. In line with that, you want to look at the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. That's like a good base. And then, of course, you want to know fundamentally what's going on sort of on a bigger scale, okay? Because you don't want to just focus on a particular stock. You want to know what's happening in the markets and so on. Hope that answers your question. I have the screen up to TradingView screen right now, but unfortunately there's so many questions I'm not going to be able to get to it. All right. Thank you for answering my question. I had a great idea. Now that you helped me look at it from a different perspective, you're awesome. Thanks again. All right. Thank you for coming on. Looking forward to watching your live chat every day. Keep up the excellent work. Your insights are awesome. So is the truth. I agree with that. The truth is everything. The truth is everything to me. When do you see the next stock market, crypto market crash? Well, because of what happened with cryptos, and as I say that, I'm going to go check I'm going to be on my other screen here for 1 second and just look at what happened with Bitcoin. See, back to 37,000 now. It peaked out at 40,000 and then has come back ever since. So I don't know. Just to go back to your question here. I don't know when. I know that interest rates will definitely play a big role in that. What will they do exactly to bring that up? If inflation goes higher, they have to. That's a factor. There are already 21 rate increases globally, so don't think that it can't happen, because it already has. Yes, it's going to be in emerging markets first, but of course, that could certainly be an issue going forward. September could be the sort of the great fall. Yeah, it's possible. A lot of people have talked about September, October timeframe. How is the Toronto real estate market doing these days? You're right out there. Yeah, so the Toronto real estate market is the biggest bubble in the entire world. If you measure it based on different levels, it's insane. Like, it's insane. Okay. It's crazy, because you're going to get a sliver of land. You'll get maybe a 25-foot lot in a desirable area. 25-foot lot that's by about 130 feet. So 25 foot by 130 feet. The house on it is 100 years old. You're looking at about $1.7 to $2 million. 100-year-old house. Maybe it's got a little bit of renovations, a little paint here and there. It is the biggest bubble in the world based on what people earn. Like, okay, so you look at some places, Switzerland and so on. Yeah, the prices of everything is high, but also you earn a lot more money. That's not necessarily the case in a place like Toronto. My skill is sewing. Awesome. See, you have a real, true skill that is valuable. Use it. Post your stuff every day. Make things, create things, post them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Post them everywhere. Let people know. I love cupcakes. All right. I'm working and listening to you right now. 9:36 p.m. Awesome. Good stuff. Optimistic? Yes. Realistic is not pessimistic. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you recognize that. Thank you. Screwing? Okay, depends on what type that is, I guess. Maybe more than one type. I don't know. 30% currency debasement in 2020 and CPP benefit increased by 1.47. Good examples of what they are doing. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? They want to devalue the currency and basically make people more subservient, but people don't like to hear about that. I'll move on. What do you think of NFTs? I think that there is some real, true, practical uses for these that could be great. I think the prices of these things that people are paying are completely absurd. Hello from Spain. Buenas noches. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Madrid. Where are you? Barcelona. 65% of the economy is really based on real estate, and that's why they won't, not 65%, but certainly a very large percentage. There's no doubt. And it's not like they won't let it drop. They create crises on purpose. I turn off my ad block for your videos. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody, take that one in. Turn off your ad block when you're watching the Money GPS. And then when you watch somebody else, you could turn the ad block back on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You got to support the creators. I think it's important. Crypto is digital fiat. I think a lot of cryptos are probably set up just to be garbage. Not all cryptos, I think, but certainly definitely some of them. Just sign up for the insiders. Yes, everybody. Take note, sign up for the insiders. Thank you very much for doing that. It's free. It's not going to cost you a dime. It's just my way to basically get your email so that I can email you the video of the day. So that like if you give, this is a tip for anybody, whether you're selling on Amazon, whether you're doing any sort of, social media, anything. When you bring outside traffic into the platform, they love it. It's like extra rank juice, they call it, okay? Because yeah, you could be picking up people on the platform, but if suddenly you bring 5,000 people in from another platform in, they love it. And now they're gonna start pumping that out to other people. Remember that. So bring outside traffic in. The market is starting to shift where the pension funds will have to hold out equities and bonds for their returns, and hence another way of controlling the ups and downs of the market. That's why they're certainly massive. The pension funds hold a lot, and yeah, they can when it comes time for the pension funds to sell, they do make waves in the market. But as I talked about in my interview with Profit Market a few weeks ago, he specifically said that you can watch when the big guys are selling because they cannot do it in one block. And same with the buying. They can't buy in one specific block because there's just not enough to be buying. That's how much they want to buy at once. If they're trying to buy, like if you're Warren Buffett, let's say, and you're trying to buy $5 billion worth of Apple, you can't just instantly go in the market and buy $5 billion, not available to you. So you got to buy at a certain price. They wait for it to drop. They buy it again. They wait for it to drop. And you could see that with the additional volumes. Yes. Like the video, please. Yes. A few elites will own everything. That's what they want. Hold on, we got a super chat. 2 of them. How has inflation changed the dating game? Inflation. Well, certainly things are going to be more expensive. So you're going to probably go for walks more often than you're going to go out for the restaurants. It's not too fun these days. Thank you for the support. Buy yourself a cup of Joe, big guy. Is that Robusta or is that Arabica? You tell me. All right, scrolling back up. I wish there was a way that I could see the super chats and not have to scroll down and then I miss everything. No kitten wallpaper. Unfortunately, yes, had a couple complaints about the kittens and they were asking me not to do that anymore. They were not too happy about that. Okay. We had such a violent crash in March and a massive bounce. This applies to the world coming in the US stock market. All right. Some people feel like crypto's the new tulips and so on. That's up to interpretation. We'll see. Like the video. Thank you very much. Speculatively, let's say cryptocurrencies were at some point to be the most widely adopted. At what rate do you think the separation of fiat versus BTC will tip over? What would a fiat collapse unfold? I just don't know. I don't know at this point, and I don't want to kind of give any speculation around that. I understand that's what you're asking for, speculation. I just think that we're in such an infancy stage. Like we're not even... They've really talked about crypto and what's possible to do, and I think we're like not even less than 1% of the way there. I think if we get there and they do the things that they say they're going to do, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be overall very good, but I just think that we're so far from actually achieving what we want to. That's my opinion. Awesome. Thank you very much for the support. I really appreciate that. Everybody that's donating, thank you very, very much. I would move to Bulgaria. Yeah, there's all kinds of places, especially there could be language barriers in some places. There could be a lot of different things that would hold people back, but you have to take it all in. They outsource to save money. I mostly shop online because we don't have much to choose from in my city. We had 2 cookware stores that closed recently, and that's going to happen. That's going to be the future trend. You're going to see a lot more mom and pop shops closing. You're going to have the big box stores there. There's going to be a lot. I think personally, the retail shops, a lot of the high-end things are going to be there because it just makes more sense to have these places that are way too expensive. Like commercial real estate's ridiculously expensive. So you're going to have, the Louis Vuitton and Christian Dior or whatever these brands are. These are going to be the ones that are still there. People will be able to go in, drive their Lamborghini. You get the, valet parking and so on. But you look at, the generic clothing and things that'll just be available all online. And then that'll take time for sure. But I think that's going to happen. All right. Thank you very much for coming on in. John? Good stuff. Is that a spam? Investing in prayers? Whatever you got to do. I think people should do whatever makes them happy. Economic Hit by yes. It's amazing. Amazing book. Economic Hitman. And I believe there's a new version. I didn't read the newer version. I think it's a little bit updated and so on. Yellen will flip. Janet Yellen, my favorite. I got to get a picture of Janet Yellen behind here. That would be awesome. The weather portfolio will not have a big return. We need big returns to retire rich. No, you need to not lose money to retire rich. Janet is and always will laugh her, you know what, off like the stooge that she is. Could you compare and contrast today with stagflation in the 1970s? Interest rates weren't held down then. Yes. So we could definitely see, like, if you look at what's happening right now with oil, for instance, of course, you know, there were different things happening at that time. I should do an entire video, like comparing today to the 1970s, just go down the list and compare a bunch of things. You should have an AdSense link for all the books that you recommend. I did, actually, I did. I've lost that link recently because I changed my website, but certainly I should increase. I should have that. I do have a link somewhere. Deflation, stagflation, hyperinflation. Depends on the time frame we're talking about here. I think we are experiencing currently right now real deflation. It's pulling down. In response to that, the government is putting the stimulus. The central bank is doing the quantitative easing. Where we end up, I don't know. Right here, can attest to no notification, going to undo and redo the bell. So I know that within that bell, there's like multiple options, like notify me every time kind of thing. You might need to hit that. Risk versus reward. What criteria is used to measure risk versus reward? I think that's up to you. Also, the amount of money you're putting on that particular trade, if that's what you're doing, or purchase of whatever it is, should be factored in. Because, you know, it might be risky, but you're only putting, let's say, 0.5% of your total portfolio, your total net worth, 0.5%, or maybe your risk in your risk part of your portfolio, you know, that trade is going to be, or that purchase is going to be 2% or 5%. You know, that should be taken into account as well. We're trying to do some price discovery on the difference between silver coinage versus component silver. Good stuff. Good stuff. I think people should just get anything real, anything real. What do you think of collectibles? MDG car, yeah. So there's a lot of different collectibles. There's art and so on. I am trying to get hooked up with an interview with masterworks.io. And I think this is interesting because they have taken art. They sort of, you know, bring everybody together and you kind of buy the art together and then they sell it. I actually know somebody who did purchase with masterworks.io. Previously, they had already bought and sold a piece, so it's a legitimate service and so on, trying to take really expensive art, but you know, you own a fraction of it and you could take advantage of that. Stay tuned for that interview. I hope that will come in the coming days or weeks. But in terms of collectibles, you got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing, or like, for example, masterworks.io, they know what they're doing. So stay tuned for an interview. Hang in there. Don't get on there until I get my interview with them, okay? Understand capitalism and get depressed kiddos. Dollar cost average or lump sum investing. Dollar cost averaging is kind of, yeah, for some people it might be okay because they're not going to be able to look into it. But if you're able to actually look into the details of this all, then as far as I'm concerned, that's the best way to do it. Sorry, let me go back. Hold on. Dollar cost averaging is good for people who are unaware. They don't have the time to look into anything. They just know that they want to put their money in the markets or it's metals or whatever it might be. If you have the time, you should look at the technicals, or what I call the paratrooper trading strategy. I'm going to bring a PDF about this soon. Essentially, you look from the top down view, what's happening overall. Then you start looking at the indexes. Then you start looking at the stocks and so on. Okay. I think it's been pretty well established that the Fed balance sheet growth directly correlates to stocks going up, but can you explain how that happens exactly? It's not direct. It's not as if, well, we print $1 and then $1, you know, worth of the stocks goes up. It's just correlated because easy money basically finds its way, sloshes around in the markets. When they start drying up the liquidity, like they did in 2018, or around that time frame globally, that was happening in 2018. And then, of course, you had that, that deflationary effect happen. It's very clear. Do you think there's a difference between silver coinage and component silver? So what I would say is everything is good. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. Have both, right? Like common coins or junk silver, whatever they want to call it. That's, to me, that's equally as good as having, maple leafs or what have you. I mean, I said, no, there's an advantage. No, you want to have it all. Can you have it all? Can you have 50-50? Can you have 20-80? Can you, whatever you want, right? Don't, the people get so specific. You have to do this because this is going to, because in 1980, this is what happened. Therefore, you have to do this. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's why you got to diversify within that real intelligent way, okay? Diversifying intelligently, not just diversifying ignorantly. Keep bringing up the real economic news. Yes. Keep joining me and I'll be here. Don't let them spook you off the gold. The rate rises. The system is finished. That's for sure. Oh, here we go. A regular. Thank you very much for coming on in. Shrinkflation. I love shrinkflation. You go to get the toilet paper. The toilet paper, like it used to be a square piece. And then now it's like, it's like this thinnest little thing. You look at anything. The paper towels are like paper thin these days. You have to wrap like 3 of them just to get one paper towel. It's unbelievable. Let me get to that. Sounds insane. The real estate market there. Yes. Toronto. This is, oh my goodness, there's so many questions. What are your thoughts on the newest news cycle trying to claim that inflation isn't the bad thing? That's fantastic. I love that. I love that stuff. Do you think that countries will go into austerity measures to cover the debt payments to cause an economic collapse? I think what we are going to experience generally is higher taxes and less services. Okay. Skills, yes, me too. I sold to good stuff. Anything, any skill you've got, do it. Skills for bills, fiat for tills. Good stuff. The problem is that I'm onto social media too much. It would help to post everything though. Trying to start an Etsy store from one to another. Love your channel. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm not into social media either. You see my face here. Do you think I want to do this? Not necessarily. I love, obviously, the interaction, but I don't love when people call me a piece of garbage. I mean, that's not fun, right? So that's just the way it is. So, you put your stuff out there. You don't have to put your face on it. You don't have to put, your voice or anything, but you share what you have and people will, you will get that attention. You post every single day. Investing going Amish. Yes. Chaz. Welcome back, Chaz. Thank you very much for coming on in. YouTube Premium, yes, that supports the creators, by the way. YouTube Premium, it actually a small percentage of it shows up in your in the analytics. I'm back to crypto. Okay, do an interview with Gerald Salente. I should ask because I've heard many people requesting. I know of Gerald Salente. Retraining. Dinner and a movie is no longer a thing. Yeah, I guess. I think we'll get back to where we were maybe. Which countries are relatively undervalued when it comes to real estate, or is everything just too inflated? I wouldn't say which countries necessarily, although you can look at like Cambodia or Georgia or something like this. But I think that you can find in most places, now things are kind of gone crazy, but in most places you go out into certain areas where the rent, so you got to look at it, it has to be cash flow positive. Doesn't matter necessarily the price, can it be cash flow positive? And there are areas in the US that have that right now. So there's places in like Georgia, you might get in Florida and so on that are cash flow positive. It's not cheap, I'll tell you that. If you could live in any country in the world, where would you live and why? I want to live in a place that has no taxes. I want to live in a place that's warm weather. I want to also have a backup place. Completely in a different area. I hope it's a kind of a generic answer, but I hope you appreciate it. Oh my goodness. I lost the chat again, guys. If you scroll just a little too much. Ugh. Will you create an Android iOS app for alerts and maybe for viewers asking questions? You know what? That might be a good idea. I have to look into that. Because if I get that app, yeah, you're going to be able to get that notification on your phone. It's expensive though. This business is just not good. That's the problem. That's the problem with this business. It's not good for money, right? So you can't reinvest anything. Your Spanish is awesome, Dave. Oh my goodness. Let's try it. Let's try it. Vamos a hablar en español. Did I get it? Did I butcher that? Give me a break. Give me a break. GPS, do you think commodity currencies like the Australian dollar will fare better than the USD, or are we all equally doomed? Yeah, in the long term, we're all doomed. However, in Australia in general, I think, and people are not going to like this, the closer the bond with China, the better off you're going to be. Okay, because China will have this, they have this voracious appetite, okay, and they will buy. But instead, there's been kind of a battle that was going on 2020. So that's not good long term, I would say. My skill is growing cabbage, make sauerkraut. Do you think atomic swaps, privacy coin can fulfill the bottom up? Units farmers have given us mass private equity. I don't know about that situation specifically, but I would just say that generally growing food, you could sell that. There's of course regulations and restrictions based on that, but 100% that's very valuable to people. Just tuned in, is digital marketing a viable industry for the future? Yeah, so digital marketing, that's kind of a big subject, but yes, I think there are people out there that want to get their product or service, their business known, and you could help them with that 100%. You got to know how to do it though. You got to make it very clear what you're going to do, how you're going to get that person to their goals. Like the video, people. Yes, 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 yes. Do that because that notifies others that this is cool. This is good. We have had 2,000 people in the room. This is a very slow day today, 45 minutes into the show, 200 people currently in here. You got to hit that like button. Come on. How do you feel about real estate in general? I think it's a fantastic asset. It is generational wealth. I think it is great, but I think it is extremely, in general, it's extremely overpriced today. Now, if you're talking about like a personal residence, don't care that much about personal residence, but I'm talking about as an investment. This is an awesome forum. I know it's extra work for you, but many of us truly appreciate you and everything you do. Thank you. Thank you for coming on in. Yeah, I mean, this is 45 minutes, 46 minutes into this. I'm doing this because of the great relationships I get to build. I was going to South Africa. Oh, careful now. What do you think about the economic cycle being driven by the solar cycles? Yeah, maybe. I just don't put any weight into that. Do you see a big name bank close in that affects Main Street economy? Well, look at Wells Fargo, just for instance. They've gotten into so much trouble and now they're closing the credit lines. Maybe they're reducing risk. Maybe they see what's happening. I mean, that's one to watch. There's also like Deutsche Bank, who I've been covering for a long time, right? So it could be a mess. Not right now, though. I don't see any necessary failures. Now, what I do see a problem with is commercial real estate. So anybody who's overexposed to commercial real estate could be a problem. What behavior can we expect from the Fed repo rate if they do not pump up massive QE again? Yeah, I mean, it could reverse even. Well, I just don't know. So the table Williamson Sonoma with the 2 cookware stores that closed in my city. This was one of the outdoor retail spaces, fake new urbanism, city square type of setup. Yeah, a lot of the big businesses had to close. Just not enough people coming in. People are shopping online. I see it in the future. Stores that store samples and no stock. Yes. Maybe you go to the nice place, the Burberry, because you go and you get your bespoke thing sewed up for you and done all nice and hemmed and everything, and that's it. You wait and it's delivered to you and so on. Like, that's kind of the future. The problem is that we are still mining crypto, energy and resource hungry, depending. I mean, I've heard different arguments about that. Get your teeth fixed before the collapse. Do whatever you can now. When people ask me if we have anything in stock at the store I work at, I tell them, no, we don't have anything in the back, just in-time inventory. Yeah, that's frightening. Why your subs not growing? This is, there's multifaceted, there's many reasons for this, okay? So number one is that I've been, so shadow banned is kind of the generic term, but they don't call it that. It's called lower authority. So because people don't share the videos, they don't come up on the recommended search for people. If there were more people giving thumbs up, if there were more people sharing it, it wouldn't be a problem. But they squash me down. So they give you a chance, right, to come back up. But people have to share it. But generally, people are worried about sharing it to their friends and family who probably would, they don't want to. So that's why I'm trying to set up the insiders so that I can get to people directly. What do you call a witty man in Canada? I do not know. Go get your fangs checked. Welcome again. Thank you for joining. The worst market drop would be like 40%, but after that it will regain back fast. So buy and hold long term is the strategy. I'm not sure if buying and holding is a strategy or just like you just don't know what to do essentially. This stock here, I don't know enough about the particular stock. I know there's a lot of hype surrounding it, and any stock with a lot of hype is concerning to me. Stagflation, yeah, it's possible. Have you ever invested in collectibles? I don't talk about what I invested in particular, but I would say that you got to know what you're getting into. So it's you pay a big premium, and if you don't know what you're doing, you lost a lot of money. Do you think this, if stimulus didn't happen, crash was imminent? Yes, 100%. I would bet on that. I have a family member telling me to put thousands into AMC. You see, this is the kind of thing, right? The shoe shine boy, the taxi cab or Uber driver telling you it's worrisome. When opportunity knocks, complain about the noise. In my town, long established Rite Aid just closed, adding to the whole side of the street, including the camera shop. The Hallmark store already closed in the Obama era. No improvement since. Yeah, there is a real true decay that's happening, and a lot of money is definitely going online instead. So that's why I tell people, learn about Amazon. Free course available to you. Free course. Just under 10,000 people have joined that course. I don't know why there isn't more people. It's available at the amazongps.com. All right. Okay. How can asset bubbles in the USA replace income loss by sending 82% of the, why do we even have an industrial average? And we have no industry. There's very little left. It's true. Awesome. Tanya, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. Thank you. Where were we here? Oh my goodness. Orange juice is a good example of shrinkflation. Same price. Yep, 100%. Shrinkflation. They don't talk about that. That's the funny thing when you talk about like the CPI or whatever, right? They're using these same, we're going to get one of this, one of that, one of this, but everything's smaller and the quality is much worse. Okay, diversify with real tangible assets, not with speculative garbage. Yeah, you want to have real stuff. There's no doubt about it. Gerald Salente, yes. I made the stream. Thank you for coming on in. Thank you. Okay, I'm going through this here. Tesla will come. So that this is financial advice. So that's something I don't. Right, the most valuable company of all times. The most valuable company of all times. Will it? Maybe. I think anything's possible. Love your show. Been watching. Yes, I recognize your name. Thank you very much for coming on into the live. Only 200 people are here. You know, what can I say? And I appreciate every single one of you coming on in. Good stuff. Good stuff. You think the housing market will get down the same as it did in 2008? So if we have a crisis that goes sort of like with the commercial real estate first, it could spill out into the residential real estate. And because the prices are so high, it's easy to come back. It's easy to come down 50% when the prices have shot up so high. You gotta think of it like that, right? Whether or not they'll go down to where they were before during that time frame, I don't know. Depends on how it unfolds. Okay. Do you think well-run sovereign wealth funds are good for reducing, eliminating income corporate taxation? Are you talking about for individuals here? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding your question, but for the corporations, you're saying they're going to invest where they think is best. And while you do have a few companies that are getting to something like a Bitcoin or what have you, I do think that ultimately they're just pumping more money into equities in general. Do you like the current valuation of retirement residence REITs in Canada? Retirement, yeah, like some of these could be good. I generally don't like REITs just because of the fact that if you want real estate, you got to buy real estate. You're just really buying a stock. So, but some could be okay. I just think that the prices are just extreme. What I don't like about REITs generally, like, so they have to get you a certain return, which means they're going to sell properties. Why are you going to sell a property if it's not time to sell the property, right? But why? Because, well, you have to, because you have to get a return to give them back to your clients. So they're just selling at not the most opportune time. Do you even look at company valuations anymore? They seem so inflated, it makes no sense. Yeah, so if you're doing short-term swing trading, you got to look at the indicators. You don't just buy thinking it's going to go up, because some things, you know, you're buying at the peak, right? Don't buy at the top of a market, absolutely. What isn't overpriced? Very, very few things. Ask me, Kevin. Oh, that's funny. That's good. I'm just scrolling through, trying to get through to the questions. Bitcoin, yeah. Keep things friendly. Ask how your neighbors, yeah, neighbors are important. YouTube is not like David. That's obvious. Just hit the like. Yes, yes, yes. Please do. Always watch our Money GPS Silver Report. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Would you buy a house in Japan when it's cheap? I don't know why I would. I've never thought of a good reason for that. This doesn't seem like the place to be. All right, let's see what we got, everybody. Thank you all for coming in. Do you like the brick background? I gotta change his background, I think. Great answers. Thank you, thank you. Amazon is the problem. No, like if you look at Amazon sellers more, so the platform of Amazon, like people think it's like a big platform. It's you know, this monstrosity, and perhaps to some degree it is, but more than 50% of the products sold on Amazon are sold by small businesses. So like if they couldn't sell on Amazon, they can't open up a mom and pop shop in the city, because people, they're not going to do that. So if any of these businesses that had the mom and pop shop also had an online presence on something like an Amazon, they survived. If they only had the mom and pop, they're gone. Depending on what type of business it is, of course. Will the government allow real estate default? Yeah, it's not that they allow it. It's going to happen, and they want it to happen. Like, people don't understand. You create a crisis on purpose. You do that on purpose. If you want control, you have to create a crisis, because if people get too much wealth, they have freedom. You don't want them to have freedom. You want them to be subservient. But I think I may have crossed the line on that one. Yeah. All right. Going down. Would you invest in Chinese stocks? It's very risky. Look at what's going on with all these different Chinese tech stocks right now. Right? Can you do a video on all the ways to buy a stock? It depends on where you are. I think that's the problem with that. It depends on where you are. Do you want to buy it as an ETF? Like, yeah, you could. I could do something about that. It's been 6 years since my last Amazon purchase. Whoa. Yes. What do you think about Dogecoin? Yeah, Dogecoin is, I mean, it just shows you how much risk we have in the markets today. I get both notifications every day. See, some people are getting the notifications. Can a crash be profitable? Yes, of course. If you have shorts, if you're buying shorts, you're shorting the market. Yeah, you can be very profitable. Like think about how long it took for the stock market to get to where we were at those lofty valuations in 2020. It took, let's say, 2 years or so. In this period of time, let me rephrase that. The market came crashing down in March 2020. That amount, it basically lost to over 2 years worth of gains. So if you were shorting the market, in like a few weeks, you made what people had made over a few year period. So just think about that. Like that's how fast you can achieve wealth. And you look at the technical indicators to help you with that. Speaking of shrinkflation, the toilet paper at Costco went from $4.25 to, yes. So they're getting more narrow, like not necessarily there. Like the toilet paper gets more narrow, it gets thinner. The same with the paper towels, right? and they're actually shrinking the amount of sheets inside the whole thing. So it's not good. It's not a good thing. How much? What would? All right. Keep up the great work. Tesla's a pipe dream. Sharing the video now. Excellent. Thank you very much, James. Appreciate that. So appreciate that you're a straight shooter and don't talk about both sides of your mouth or hedge what you say to always be right in retrospect. Yeah, I notice a lot of people, like a lot of the YouTubers, they just do that just simply because they want to grow their channel at the maximum rate. I can think of a few guys, I'm not going to name their names, but their channels have grown. We're talking about well over 1 million subscribers and beyond, and their channels will be very successful into the future because they're willing to do that. But I can't sit here and lie to you. How can I make now? I'm making 2 videos every single day. How can I do that and be lying to you at the same time? Oh my goodness, I've been on for an hour. All right, thank you for the support for that one, as well as this one here. Thoughts on basil and the London exchanges. So just for basil specifically, I relate basil to dry clean only. Dry clean only, because it's just a recommendation. Ultimately, they don't have to do anything about it. They don't have to do anything about it, and that's just the way it is. I hope that answers your question. In terms of like LIBOR and things like that, is that what you're talking about? London Metal Exchange and so on. I don't have too much of an opinion on it specifically. I just think that all of these, there's so much fixing today. Whatever they want the price of gold and silver to be, they make it that price. Whatever they want to happen with cryptocurrencies, they can push it up and push it down. Look at what's going on with the VIX. When the VIX just absolutely exploded back in 2018, I talked about it in yesterday's video. It's insane. They can do whatever they want. If we knew exactly when the bubbles would pop, that would be amazing. Nobody knows. It's true. It's absolutely true. How would the reserve currency status change? We'll look back during the time in which you had the British pound being the reserve currency, right? You've predicted the end of the world for 20 years. Will that be happening soon? No, literally no idea. You're probably on the wrong channel. Tesla makes his money selling carbon credits it gets from the government. What are your favorite economic books that you have read? So some of the books, okay, so if you want to stay kind of like mainstream, I would say, I talked about it earlier in the video, like Money, Master the Game by Tony Robbins. He interviews all kinds of people like Ray Dalio, Paul Tudor Jones, and so on, and gets their insight, what they think is the best way to invest and so on. And then I would read Ray Dalio's Principles, the whole book. I've seen people say, don't only read the second half. And no, don't do that. Read the whole thing. Okay, so get those 2 books. That kind of gives you a good foundation. I'm going to plug my own book, The Money GPS, of course, because it gives you kind of a foundation. That would be the first book. The Money GPS is the book that everybody should read first because it gives you that foundation, okay? I would also recommend, if you want to get like deeper into that, I would read Infectious Greed by Frank Partnoy. That's very important. And I would also read The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. All right, thank you for the question. Okay, let's see. If you got $50,000 in your bank account, what would you do with that money? David and everybody watching, I'm going to be doing a video series. What would you do with $100? What would you do with $1,000? What would I do, I should say? What would I do with $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, whatever it might be? I'm going to do a whole series of videos. I'll put them all on a playlist. So stay tuned for that because I want to break it down. I want to have it done properly. I want to think it through. All right. I'm scrolling through. How do you think that Toronto real estate could drop 25% correction or 70% correction possible? Like from these heights, anything is possible, certainly. When the entire economy is relying on it, certainly you've got a big issue. I'm looking at interest rates, ultimately. The debt, so we've gotten to the point where the debt is just so extreme, but it is payable. What I would say is in the coming years. So if there's a crisis today, people won't have to then refinance for 2 years, maybe it's 3 years, maybe it's 5 years for people who just got it at that point there, and then it becomes a very big problem. Countries like Norway have a sovereign wealth fund that boosts government revenue to reduce direct taxation for both companies and individuals. Could this be well run enough for zero tax? Hard to say. I don't think that countries ultimately have the best interests of the citizens in mind. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people would disagree on that, but it's just based on my studies. Yes, looks like you're in a prison. A financial should be inspiring. Get an ocean background somewhere by the beach. Or how about make it look like you're in a helicopter dropping money? Yes, I should do that. But people, for some reason, I've got a few complaints from people saying don't have fun on the channel. Just make it very serious. Wear a blazer, shave your face, and so on. I'm just trying to have fun. What do you think about Tether insolvency could affect crypto? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about that. It will affect it negatively. That's my opinion. How does crude play into things right now? It's reactive or proactive? Yeah, well, getting up to this point here, I think was reacting to a lot of the news and the commodities boost and everything. And I think it's relatively stabilized. And as I say that, let me just go check. Yeah, it's at 72. So we're seeing crude oil at $72 a barrel. This is something that I would say that people should be paying attention to in general. All right. What is the best time to buy a residential house? When you could afford to make the payments. I think your own property should be more of a personal decision. Look, you want to get it near the nice schools. You want to make sure it's on a good street. You want to have good neighbors. Like these things, the price, yeah, it sucks to pay a lot of, extremely expensive, but you're going to try to get the fixed interest rate. Right now it's really cheap interest rates, super low. But if you're talking about like an investment property, your home is not an investment. Don't think of it like that. It's a very big liability. It would be the biggest liability that you have. Is it too early to short the NASDAQ? Yes, in my opinion. Yes, it is too early in general. But if you're like, you're swing trading, there might be opportunities coming up. Maybe you could get a quick buck here or there, right? Okay. For a third world country citizen like me, any advice on what to expect for the world economy? Like, what should I keep an eye on? I would say inflation rates are big. Look for capital controls. Are they starting to talk about this? Are they restricting you in any way? Watch out for that. I would say you got to hold on to real assets as much as possible. I would also probably have, in my opinion, have a little bit of dollars. If you can have dollars, if you're legitimately allowed to have that, then that would be good, because if there's a problem with your currency, then you can always use that secondary a little bit. Long-time follower, must seem wild. The markets haven't crashed. Seems the Fed can hide. Yeah, so they showed their true weakness back in early 2020. I would say that. But yeah, definitely they've been very resilient because of the devaluation of the currency. Is there any hope? Absolutely. There's hope for everyone. Everyone. Honest viewers follow honest broadcasters. Thank you, Matt. Awesome as always. The best stream. Thank you. Can you see a time of when that dream moment of stackers arrives and real estate can be bought with a few coins? So if that happens, we're going to be in major chaos. I don't think it's going to be so clear cut and fantastic. It's possible. Would now be a good time to cash out, refinance, and sit on the cash in anticipation. I wouldn't do that if it's a personal property. Personally, just the risk is so high. It's too high because you don't know where the price is going to go from here. What if we go parabolic from here, right? Before there's a crash. So what if you buy in $1 million home and homes become $4 million and then it crashes down again? Do you want to be taking, having that take place with you? It's too much of a roller coaster. Infectious Greed, great book. See, right here. Great book, Frank Partnoy. Creature from Jekyll Island, fantastic. It's very, very popular book, and I think everybody should read it. Okay. GPS thoughts on the long bond used as a hedge for deflationary crash. Fed will push up the rates down on the next drop. It's possible. Like if you look at Ray Dalio's all-weather portfolio, he's got something like 30% long bonds, 15% intermediate bonds. So it just shows you. Cool background. All right. Some people like it. Don't be a cat. Yeah. Some people got upset about the cat. Thank you for coming on in. Before you can get 2 medium topping Domino's pizza for 13, now it's 25. Yeah, that's crazy. Just shows you. Thank you. You're welcome. Can we expect a dramatic reversal in policy from the Fed replacing Powell. It doesn't matter who they put there. To be honest with you, they always talk about Jerome Powell, and the guy. I mean, look at it. He's got a lot of white hair, and he looks much older than he does just a few years ago. Certainly, there's a lot of stress on him, but it's the FOMC. The FOMC is deciding. He's just one of those people, and then you look a little deeper and realize it's really more of it. There's another group on top of that really matters. So, okay, going through. I'm just trying to get to all the questions. Could you do a video? Yeah, I had answered this one. I will definitely. Robert Kiyosaki, love Kiyosaki. I love Kiyosaki. I learned a lot from him. If you want to read a great book by Kiyosaki, read his, I think it's his newest or second newest one. It's called Fake. Very good one. Is the stock market financing war and thus immoral? Not the stock market necessarily, unless you look at certain stocks that benefit from that directly. But yeah, there's a lot of it. I think pharmaceuticals are worse personally for that, because they are direct. Like, there's a lot of companies directly being funded by this, and you just look at what's been happening over the last year and a half. GPS thoughts on long bond? Yeah, that's okay. So I got to this one already. Your house is not an asset. Somebody said, and now I've scrolled down to the bottom again. Oh my goodness, I messed up. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for this support. Is the gig economy the backbone of the U.S. economy? In some ways, it has been. Certainly, it's a lot of things have changed. I think a lot more people today are driving for Uber Eats and all of these things instead of getting a job at McDonald's, for instance, because, hey, they don't have a boss around. They don't have to deal with certain hours. They can make their hours whenever they want. They're in their own vehicle. So, yeah, why not, right? That's what they're saying. Okay, I got a few more questions. I got to get out of here. It's an hour and 10 minutes. Okay. Why can't people adjust to inflation and everything goes well? Because it goes faster than their wages do. And most people don't own enough assets. So if you own a lot of assets, then it does well for you, but it's just the way it goes. Can you do a video? I messed. Should I be buying gold? I can't tell you what to buy, but look at Ray Dalio's all-weather portfolio, and you could see how that works out over the years. Have a global valued skill set be essential. Yes, do agree with that. Yeah, the debt ceiling, you never have to worry about the debt ceiling. They always push it a little bit further. Oh my goodness, it's going to be crazy. What are we going to do? We're not going to be able to fund the government. And then we just extend it. There's like this huge fear around it, and then suddenly they just extend it. 1% mortgage rates coming. Crash will happen first. Long bond at 0%. Yeah, like if you look at in terms of 1%, I mean, already Canada has 1%. UK, I think, has 1% already. Canadian government printing money. Yeah, net takeaway. Yeah, some areas get better benefits. That's why you can't have a one centralized thing administering for everybody else. They take your tax dollars, okay, and you don't have a choice or say in the matter, and then they divvy out the cash where they seem is best. Look at a country like Cayman Islands. I realize it's different, but you don't pay income tax, right? So you don't pay income tax. How does it work? How do they? What? Wait a minute. No income tax. How they fund the roads? We're talking about a place where you decide where you get taxed. If you want to drive a BMW, you got to pay 40% on top of the sticker price to get that car, because they're going to tax you. That's going to fund the government. Do you understand? You don't get taxed on your income. You decide what to do with it. If you don't want to drive that BMW and you want to walk, you don't pay the 40%. Isn't that fantastic? I realize, smaller country, get it, but it's a wealthy country. Thumbs up now. Beat the rush. Yes. Hit it. We got 239 people in here. Only 3,000 people have joined today. It's a slower day. No doubt about it. But I'm just glad everybody's here. All right. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know those stocks in particular. All right. Gold has never been confiscated. That is true. From the Philippines, you have reached far more than you think. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Knowing that there's like people around the world watching right now is just fantastic. Okay. This is awesome. Let's see what we got here. Creation of the Federal Reserve Bank, all done in secret, sold to the American public as a way to maintain economic stability in the banks. And guess what? It's done good for the banks. Hasn't done good for the people. Negative interest rates coming. I think actually there'll probably be more money printing. Like negative interest rates, you look at the examples that we have today and it hasn't done well at all. So I don't think they'll go for it. Why do you think kids don't learn about gold or money in the schools? It's very obvious to me anyway that they do not want people to know the truth. They say, you go take your economics 101 or whatever, maybe in high school you get to learn one thing and they teach you like how to file your taxes or something. It's just nonsense. People have to learn on their own. My goal for the Money GPS is to create different systems, videos, books, PDFs, whatever it might be for every single age group. So that's my plan for the future of the Money GPS. Output all this information on social media, but at the same time, dig in a little deeper. I have a plan for a children's book, teaching piggy bank type savings. Like I want to start that young. Save your money in your piggy bank. Save your money in your piggy bank. Of course, the parents would know how to invest that properly, but that's the whole point. Just get that idea in their head. Learn about money. Learn about money. It's this real thing because young kids don't understand it. They grow up thinking money grows on trees, and some people believe that, but not the case. Not the case. So that's what I want to do. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here soon. We'll see. I usually say that, and we're already 1 hour 15 minutes in. All right, where are we? Hive. I think that's a stock with a lot of hype around it. I don't know about that particular stock. I don't talk about. I like boring stocks. Do you think dividend aristocrats will continue to pay post next deep crash? I don't know exactly what you're talking about, like those stocks that have been around for a while and they just pay out those dividends. Yeah, it's possible, but I mean they could reduce the amount they pay out. Usually that does happen with a lot of stocks. What will the banks do when the drop comes? Digital currency bailouts right now? I don't know. I think it's going to be a combination of everything. You're going to have higher taxes most likely. You're going to have less services. You're going to experience more austerity in general. There's going to be less available for you. Maybe even a universal basic income might be coming around. There might be a lot of chaos on the streets. I mean, I really think anything is possible. I don't understand the Fed or money printing. Do they literally print out of a giant printer? No, they digits on a screen. If you want to check out, if you go to my channel, the Money GPS, you scroll down to the very bottom, like on the main channel, you scroll down, there's a bunch of playlists. The very bottom one is the Money GPS e-course. And you look in there and actually talk about how the banking system works in like a super simplified way. More lockdowns coming. It is possible. Some places already. My friends in Australia, you can speak to it right now. Are you locked down? Let everybody know. First recipients of the debasement spending are the beneficiaries of a wealth transfer from everyone else. Yes, and you see that today, right? See all the money printing, who's benefiting? Only 3% of all the money in physical paper dollars, everything else is digits on a computer screen. That is true. Love your book ideas. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I mean, it's very hard. It's very difficult to create something like that. My first book, which was an extremely large amount of research that I simplified, anybody could read it and figure it out. A lot of people were kind of upset because I simplified it so much, but I even used cartoons and things to really make this, anybody could read it. That takes a lot of time. So it took me 1 year and 3 months to write that. So it was a big investment of my time. And of course, financially it's terrible, but I did it because, I think people need to know it. I think people need to know it. That was the book I wish that I had when I was starting, 14, 15 years ago. If I had that book, my trajectory would have been completely different today, but somebody had to do it. So love your book ideas for kids. Thank you. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Stagflation. Which book? Sorry, I'm not sure what you're referencing. The Money GPS was the Money GPS I was talking about. My first book that I wrote. Money on trees, fault of parents? No. Responsibility taught? Yes. Please set up kids' education. My kids won't listen to me. Money on trees, fault of the parents? No. I think that we should be teaching our kids about money, and there's the books that are so important that we need to have. You look at a lot of them, honestly, not going in the right direction. But yeah, we got to start with the piggy bank type things, and so there's going to be, the money GPS for kids, and that's going to go. I'm talking about from that, let's say like 6-year-old up, and then we get kind of like the teenager, and then we go into the adolescent, and then of course then there's the regular money GPS. So I'm going to try to do that in like maybe like three levels, and then also putting out content. So for anybody who's not aware, I have it right here. Where am I? Right here, where you could see my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Get on all of those, because on there I'm literally giving out like such key information every single day. Business ideas, information that's happening, when you get new numbers, inflation numbers, and so on. I'm posting it all on there, and I'm doing, even including like funny stuff too. So you can definitely check it out. When do you think there's actually gonna crash, the fake economy start over? Yeah, I think we're in the process of it right now. I really do think so. So, but in terms of the stock market, different story. I've heard of this guy before. I know that he's a big proponent of the deflation. Deflation. Let me talk really quickly about deflation. So that, like, people look at, okay, what the Federal Reserve is doing is deflationary. Yeah, I get that. My response to that is that in actual fact, you have real deflation that's taken hold. You can see that, elements of that in the bond market. Yes, I get that. But the response will be helicopter money from the government, not the Federal Reserve. The helicopter money coming from the government is going to go directly to the people, whether that's universal basic income, whether that's just some crazy, let them have their cake or whatever. And so, can you elaborate on the 7 shares of Amazon? Yes. People who have joined me more recently probably don't understand what that is, and I could understand like, what's he talking about? 7 shares of Amazon. Let me basically describe really quickly what that means. Essentially, 7 shares of Amazon, and this was like from years ago, is like somebody who owns a relatively small amount of stock, even if it's a couple 100,000. I'm talking about compared to like the total market. They think that they know everything. Okay, let's say their portfolio is either $50 or $200,000, whatever it is. I just kind of call them like the 7 shares of Amazon, because compared to the total, they're nothing. They're like a small little ant, a little bug, but yet they talk about things as if they're, the be all end all. So like when we comes to the retail investors mean nothing to the markets. Yeah, things have changed certainly over the years, but I assure you right now, the retail investors, unless it's like a short squeeze, unless it's those very few examples, retail investors are nothing. They get pushed around like, something in the wind, that's just the way it is. So it's just kind of just my silly way of talking about it. All right. You're the truth warrior. Thank you for coming on in. All right. Helicopter money comes from existing dollars, not from money printing. I wouldn't put anything past them. Anything is possible. Maybe they take it from a deficit. They just say, now here's this money. We just take it out we get JP Morgan and so on. Here, give us a loan. Okay, I'm going to stop this video right now, by the way. I'm going to answer a couple more, and then I'm out. Money can still buy what it did thousands of years ago. However, currency continues to buy less and less. Yes, I know what you mean. I try to watch your videos, but I really don't understand anything. So definitely check out my playlist that I talked about. Go to the main channel, scroll down to the very bottom. There's one called the Easy E-Course, or the Money GPS E-Course, and that right there will actually give you a nice base of understanding. Appreciate it. Absolutely. DeMarcus, thank you. David talks fast when I have to. Gotta talk fast. Gotta go. Thanks for looking at my message. We'll attempt to get my kids watching. US Econ is, no way out. Waiting to see how it all breaks down. Weird as it seems, crypto seems to be a safe haven. I know, that's funny when things are getting a little crazy, but that's just the way it is. Something in the wind, yes. What do you do for fun? I exercise every single day. That's fantastic. I love to read. I love to exercise in general, like either with weights or whether that's just walking outside. I think that's awesome. Yeah. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Gaddafi tried to go back currency. Yeah, you can't go against the system. That's just the way it is. All right. Thank you. Thank you. How much should I keep in my credit union? I would keep a minimum, just what you need for daily things. If you're saving up to buy a certain thing, okay, sure, keep it in there. But you should never save money in a bank account or credit union. That's just my thoughts on it. Okay, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you all for coming on in. I'm going to bring to you, of course, as always, the video of the day tomorrow morning. Check it out, definitely. Stay tuned for the Money GPS. For all those wondering and watching right now, these videos, the live streams, I'll allow them to stay on until the next morning when I post the regular video, and then I make it unlisted. Okay, so that's just what I'm going to do because I think that's best for the algorithm based on what I saw. So that's what I'm going to do, and I hope you appreciate that. I might figure out a way to make it unlisted, but I think if you go to my Twitter, maybe it will be there on the Twitter still. So if you go to my Twitter, you'll still be able to get them permanently because I'm going to make them unlisted, not private. So you can still check them out there. That's all. I'm going to end the stream. Thank you very much for coming on in. Again, tomorrow I'll be live, hopefully at 9 o'clock. That's it.